So I bought this stuff from Bunnings. It's just K-Flex water pipe insulation. So intentions of using it as a flat tire defender or Cushcore type of thing, protect the rim and hopefully protect against pinch flats or snake bites. Now, not too sure whether this is going to absorb sealant or not. So we've got PD sealant here. I don't really use this stuff in my tyres because I'm not a big fan of it, but I'll put it in here just to see if it absorbs in. So I've cut a little piece here and I'll sit it in the cup for a bit and see what the absorption's like. 60ml, so there's plenty in there, so it's going to cover the foam quite well. Bit we cut off. Dunk him in. I'll leave that sit for a while and see if it absorbs into the inside of the material itself. So this is an idea of how it's going to sit in the tyre. So I'll join these two bits together. I'll get a smaller piece of K-Flex, like a smaller diameter, and stick it up there and up there so it holds it in nice and snug, like a connector. And once it's on the tyre, once it's on the rim, it's actually going to be quite a tight fit, which is good. It's obviously hollow in the middle, so it'll flex and move, but it will fill out the tyre quite well. The only concern that I have with this is maybe it's going to make it hard. So once that tyre's on the rim and whatnot, it may make it a little hard to get air in the tyre. I'm sure it won't be impossible. It'll still push through, but it might just be harder on the pump and maybe affect my I don't know, maybe it might affect the reading on the tyre pressure gauge, but I don't think so. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, overall it looks like a really good fit. So with the tyre closed up, that's nice and tight there. The amount you need is, it's only just overlapping when it's in this tyre. So this is a 27.5 by 2.3 Minion DHR2, and I mean that's probably pretty good actually, jammed together like that. Might just make two connections with the smaller K-Flex, and I reckon that'll do a good job. Flaring out, just two 1 metre lengths, so they're $5.40 each at Bunnings, the 38mm K-Flex, and probably get like a 22mm or something to jam it inside, so another $4 worth of K-Flex, so $15 excursion, and we might have good flat tyre prevention and good damping in the tyre as well, which will be nice. So one other concern I have is it may actually be too much, like it might be too big. I might have gone one size too big for the 2.3 tyre. This would definitely be good on a 2.5 or a bigger bag tyre, but I think getting the sealant to be at the top of the tyre might be a little bit of an issue because it's taking up that much room. So when that's closed up, that's taking up more or less the majority of this tyre. So we'll see how it goes, but it might be a matter of dropping it down to, I think the next size down is a 35mm or a 33mm or something. So there's not a lot of difference. I had a look at them when I was in Bunnings, and I decided to go for the biggest one I could get just to start out with. So we'll see how this goes once I put it on the rim and pump it up. So here we go, I've got my Bontrager rim here, and I'll wrap it up and around. Get an idea, so this is two 1 metre lengths, minus the about 20mm that I cut off, 25mm that I cut off to sit in the sealant. And I reckon this is pretty well spot on. So sitting around the rim, It's not super tight, there's still a little bit of freedom there, so the air will get in there, no worries. Once that tyre's inflated, there should be enough room around the outside for sealant to float around, hopefully. So we're getting there. Good protection. So I've got the K-Flex 9mm by 19mm for the internal bit. So as you can see here, it just pushes straight into the thicker stuff, and it's not, I didn't get the super dense stuff. I got the bigger hole, so there's a little bit more flex there, so it doesn't round the tyre out too much or put too much of a blockage for sealant and whatnot, but it's going to hold everything together. So the sealant's been, the foam's been sitting in the sealant for about 3 hours, just over 3 hours now. I'll pull it out. And have a look whether any of it has absorbed into the membrane or the foam. So we got, we're still pretty close to 60mm in there, so doesn't seem like it has. Let's have a look, scrape the excess off. This stuff's pretty messy. And then give it a light wipe without squeezing it, so that way we can get an accurate idea of whether there's any inside the foam once I've cleaned it. So where are we at? Yeah, we're pretty good. We've got 60mm in there still, so if it has absorbed, it hasn't absorbed much. Not that this is a very big piece, but let's have a look. So that is the end that was submerged. Squeeze it. Let's have a look. So we'll just wipe the rest off the front of it so it's not misleading. Some more out of the inside. And we'll just give it a good squeeze. And that seems like it's pretty resistant to absorbing it. There may be a little bit in there, but very little, if any. Doesn't feel heavy. Feels alright. I'm going to say that that's good. That's not too bad at all. So I'm not going to run the PDs in the tyre. I'm going to run the standard stands sealant. So more so just for thorns and actual punctures than worrying about big cuts and slits. So standard stands, nice and thin, should be the way to go. Right, so I've just had a pretty big struggle getting it on and getting it inflated. So because it's such a big piece of foam, it was a little awkward to feed the bead in to the well of the rim to make it easy to get the whole bead on. And then also once I pumped it up, the air forcing back out of the valve was pushing the foam down and closing the valve off. So that's not ideal either. That's something I'm going to address as well. So what I'm thinking is I'll go and get some 32mm instead of this 38mm stuff, because this 38mm takes up a huge amount of space in the tyre. It takes up most of the tyre. I'll get the 32, and what I'll do is I'll make the strip, but I'll make it come to maybe just these last 2 spokes, so you've got about maybe 2 inches of space here that's not protected, obviously, but it also allows that valve to open and close freely. So I'm not going to have that blockage issue and the air issue, getting air in and out. So I'll do that and we'll continue. So I've dropped down to the 32mm K-Flex, and I've just used the smaller stuff that I've got there to plug up the ends. So I've plugged this end and I've plugged the other end. It's glued in the middle. So I'll let that glue set and then I'll put it in and we'll go again, see how we go, see if it's easier. So the 32mm stuff was easy to get the bead on. Still takes up plenty of room in the tyre, so I'm not worried about it giving me any less protection. I think that's perfect. The 38 was definitely too big. Did the same process, so I glued it together at one end, and then the 2 loose ends I've patched up, as you've seen. And when it went in the wheel, when it went in the tyre, it came to probably spoke to spoke, maybe a little closer to that valve. So there's just enough room for that valve to breathe. I got air in and I got air out, no worries, so that problem's solved. There's a little bit of stand sealant in there, which is good. Now whether this moves, whether the insert moves over time, I'm not too sure, because it's obviously free to move, but I'm hoping it's in there tight enough that it doesn't move, and I can keep playing with air and mess around with that. So I've been for a ride, it feels alright, but I can't take any hits yet because I'm injured, so I'll wait till we get on the trails in hopefully a few days, and we'll see how it feels.